Hey guys, here's my pitch. I'm gonna make a Jackie Chan film introducing him to the US, but instead of being a fun large-scale action adventure film, I'm gonna make a deeply serious and dour police procedural that shows off none of his appeal and charisma, doesn't have him do any proper fighting until the last 20 minutes, and shoehorns him into a role that is just overall completely antithetical to his screen persona.
Give me the fucking key.
The US version of The Protector is a terrible film. There's just no way of justifying the sloppy filmmaking and poorly executed action that permeates almost its every frame. Protector in my mind is the only Jackie Chan led film that I would consider to be outright bad. And trust me, I've seen all of Chan's Golden Harvest productions. Even if the screenplay ends up being pretty superficial, and basically being an excuse for stringing action set pieces together, the quality of the filmmaking is always sublime. So why put him in such a B-grade production, especially when this was the second attempt to introduce him to American audiences after the near miss of Battle Creek Brawl?
It's not like Chan hadn't done a serious role before or couldn't succeed in that arena, but this
gory, sweary, chauvinist, blood-fueled rampage is the exact opposite of a film that Chan would usually star in. Anyway, on to the excrement.
Show me the ball, let's fucking play around us.
The film starts out with this strange Mad Max looking robbery scene which is completely out of step with the rest of the film's feel and tone. It doesn't involve any cool action, cool character moments, it just entails the buddy cops, Chan and his obviously doomed partner Michael, spending 5 minutes just going
Stop! No.
Until they just leave, having no effect on the plot. You could directly cut into this. And you wouldn't lose anything. This is like rule number one of editing, narrative economy, and they can't even seem to do that within the first 5 minutes. At many points, Chan doesn't look like he wants to be in his own starring vehicle for the US, and throughout the film he will have a very passive role in his own movie, often appearing as a passenger in a film that's supposed to present him as the star. His conflicts with Glickenhaus are fabled. He basically thought the man was a hack, and when it came to action sequences, in that regard he was certainly correct.
Although the JC stunt team were the fight choreographers of credit, they weren't necessarily in charge. They had to play nice with how Glickenhaus wanted to shoot the action scenes, which was usually antithetical to how the JC stunt team used to working.
And the shot of the goon flying through the window just goes on and on and on. Chan's cut improves on this massively with the use of these alternate takes. The American cut is just so blatant and lethargic in its delivery, even when it comes to the money shots. No, not those money shots. Whenever something cool happens, the money shots are filmed in this weird frame which isn't quite slow motion, but not quite normal motion either. It sucks the excitement out of any spectacle the shot might be lining up. The boat chase is a particularly turgid exercise. The two boats just go in a straight line with Jackie and the goon haphazardly shooting at each other. So how can you make an explosion and a Jackie Chan stunt look unexciting? It all looks brown and ugly and poorly framed. There's a lack of depth perception because of the high angle. The audience can't tell that it's Jackie doing the stunt because it's filmed in a bland master shot. Everything is bad. I mean, it honestly would have been more exciting if Chan had just jumped out of the boat just before it hit the goon's yacht. Jackie comes up in the middle of the fiery debris and looks on with a mixture of pride and sorrow. He has properly avenged his fallen friend in epic fashion. There, you have emotional content and excitement all in the space of 30 seconds, instead of the 2.5 minutes it takes to executing this helicopter stunt in the American edit. I mean, a certain Criterion producer would probably call this idea cliche, but I think it would have worked. The lack of excitement and pace is an exemplar of the presentation of the action throughout the rest of the film. This end fight with the muscly goon, the man just throws boxes at Jackie until he predictably kicks him off, resulting in yet another slow-mo shot that goes on Pretty much the only thing I like about Glickenhaus's structuring of his screenplay is that the two leads, Danny Aiello and Chen, are thrown together through demotion duties at this party that directly connects to the main plot, in what may be the best scene of Glickenhaus's version. Most of the main players are introduced, including heavy Bill Wallace in a bizarre bit of casual racism.
Listen, you lousy chink bastard. You keep bugging Mr. Shapiro's daughter, they'll scrape you off the floor with a putty knife.
and Laura Shapiro, in a genuinely interesting bit of corporate intrigue surrounding her fashion company. It also is Glickenhaus's most exciting action sequence, as it ends in an explosion and terrorist event, which seems to come completely out of nowhere. I actually think the premise of the daughter of a wealthy businessman being kidnapped and taken to Hong Kong has potential. However, the potential is squandered when we spend the next 10 minutes of the film farting around Hong Kong in a massage parlour, with some truly horrific gratuitous female nudity. This segues into a shoddily choreographed fight sequence in the massage parlour. This is an interesting action arena that should have been far more awesome than it turns out to be. It is so below par, it is a complete waste of Chan's talents. To know he was in his physical prime here makes this incompetence even more infuriating. It's also in this part of the film where one notices that Glickenhaus's attention seems to be on Danny Aiello more than Chan.
This chick loves me.
Aiello seems to become the main character in this part of the film, with Jackie taking a back seat until he is called in to do some actiony things, and then let Aiello continue his wisecracking straight afterwards. The American version of the final fight between Jackie Chan and Bill Wallace is yet again the awful product of when you don't get Jackie Chan to direct fight sequences. It's so slow and plodding and predictable and boringly shot and bland and turgid. It's just, oh. Finally, we move on to the most important thing of all, number 4.
Boobs!
Boobs, Ozzy.
And so we come to the pièce de résistance of this film's sleaziness. It's the most demeaning and obscene depiction of women in the workplace in film history.
It's very cringeworthy and awkward, so it's not really worth talking about further.
Aside from the odd, nicely smoky-looking steel interior and the well-framed hero shot, the film just has an air of feeling cheap and being haphazardly made. Glickenhaus misses an integral part of what makes these Golden Harvest East and Western crossover films work. Like the James Bond films of the 60s and 70s, they trade on a sort of Asian exotica, an image of the East that captures its unique local flavour. Glickenhaus instead paints Hong Kong as grimy and disgusting and just downright unappealing. Although it's jumping ahead a few years, this is why Rush Hour succeeded. It had Chan speaking in Chinese for the first part of the film, and it showed Hong Kong as a bustling cultural hub. It really succeeded in achieving the East meets West feel, but in The Protector, it's just West. This is the exact opposite filmmaker you would want to present an Asian hero to the West with.
Rather than embrace Asian culture, Glickenhaus wanted Dirty Harry.
I like you like a Clint Eastwood. Boom, one punch, knock somebody down. Boom, make my day, you know.
The Hong Kong edit of The Protector improves on the US version exponentially, going from Jackie Chan's worst film as a leading man ever
to a film that sits quite comfortably with Chan's other 80s output.
Yes, Chan went through the entire film, editing things down to make the film pacier, using alternate angles of things Chan found too sloppily shot, and adding in his own material that he directed himself, to either replace or to add to things he found subpar in Glickenhaus's version. All in all, around 40% of the Hong Kong version of The Protector comprises of footage newly shot by Jackie Chan.
It's a testament to Chan as a filmmaker
that by changing only about 40% of the film's content, he can improve the film that much. Most of the boring-ass boat chase has been cut out. Jackie's partner's miserable, tonally out-of-place funeral is cut out. Most of the trite, poorly written dialogue has been replaced in a Cantonese dub. And I'm no prude, but I'll take the moderate PG-13 swearing in the Cantonese edit over the use of fuck every other second in the Glickenhaus version.
Give me the fucking keys.
Most of the establishing shots have been trimmed in order to improve the pace. More close-ups, trimming and alternate angles have been used both in the bar shootout and the massage parlour fight to improve their pacing. An entire subplot was added by Jackie Chan to thicken out the plot and tie up loose plot threads. David Chan's character seems to disappear halfway through the film, and this new subplot gives the character a proper resolution, as well as help to increase the action, intrigue and excitement, whilst also make the plot more streamlined. Within this subplot are 3 new action sequences. These are a comedic gym fight, an action sequence featuring Lee Hoi-san and Bill Wallace, and the brief shootout and bomb defusing sequence, which is far more exciting than any of the shootouts that Glickenhaus shot for the American edit, as well as removing a cavalcade of boobs in the US cut. The new footage and edits helped to streamline the pace of the drug lab set piece. A new scene wrapping up the subplot is added at an airport, giving nice narrative closure before heading to the final sequence. The showdown between Jackie Chan and Bill Superfoot Wallace has gone from a massive disappointment and missed opportunity to now becoming one of the best one-on-one fights of Jackie Chan's career. The fight has been given new coherence and structure, given an entirely new beginning added onto the boring start in the 84 footage. However, rather than meandering over to the next section of the fight like in the US cut, Jackie adds in a new section of the fight by a chain link fence. We then cut to another new section added by Jackie by a forklift, before cutting to a new section blocking Wallace's punches with a metal box. An awesome alternate slow motion shot of Jackie smashing the vase over Wallace's head, before segueing into a new ending to the first part of the fight. Even the music throughout the film is completely different, with scenes featuring the musical cues by the talented composer Ken Thorne that are completely absent to the American cut of the film. I compared this film to Superman 2, where the film cuts back and forth between Glickenhaus and Chan footage, in the same way Superman 2 did the same in cutting back and forth between Donner and Lester footage. The Lester footage provided a coherent baseline and structure for the Donner footage to sandwich itself in between, and the Glickenhaus footage here serves the same effect. Unlike in the case of Superman 2, however, I actually wish Chan had reshot more of the film. Richard Lester is actually one of my favourite directors. His work on A Hard Day's Night and Help was influential and helped redefine the musical comedy and the comedy genre as a whole. It's just that his sensibility arguably wasn't right for the earnest character of Superman, and the material he shot for Superman 2 feels awkward at points as a result. This is something that would exponentially get worse for Superman 3. But the footage was still competently shot in his version of Superman 2. James Glickenhaus, however, had no right directing a Jackie Chan film, and the lack of quality to his work permeates throughout the film, so as a result, having as much of his material removed as possible would only have a positive effect on the overall product. I think Chan giving the parlour fight a complete do-over would have been nice, and if not, tightening the Glickenhaus stuff up to even more than Chan had already did, as I demonstrate here. Also shooting an entirely new beginning to the film to replace the slow and bizarre one we're lumbered with. An opening action scene would have given the opening minutes a much needed exciting boost. Considering this was all shot in mid-85 during the pre-production of Police Story, I probably don't even think these reshoots were planned by Golden Harvest, and were more done as a quality control thing by Chan, so as not to have his name on the American cut of The Protector. Most of the Asian marketing and making-ofs focus on the behind-the-scenes of Jackie Chan's footage, with very little footage dedicated to the 84 Glickenhaus footage. Even if he wanted to reshoot more of the film, he probably just ran out of time and reshot as much as he could. Well, you know that it's still the most successful Jackie Chan movie internationally, and always will be, because the American audience, the mainstream audience, will never sit still for Jackie's style of action.
Yeah, whatever. It's no surprise that The Protector failed to excite audiences in 1985 with its turgid execution and mishandling of its star's potential. I don't really understand this notion that American audiences wouldn't sit still for Chan's style of action. It's markedly more exciting than anything Glickenhaus had to offer up in his version of the film.
The numbers speak for themselves.